love Mike Hanson Archives.
Hello, folks. This is Jeff Davis with the legendary Jeff Davis Show from Central Texas, USA. And I love Mike Hanson Archives. Peace out, baby.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Halsman, mother of David Koresh. You are now watching the Jeff Davis Show. If you'd like more information on what happened to Waco, stay tuned to Jeff Davis. He will bring you the latest.
Okay, now you're originally from Arkansas.
I'm going to prison any minute. Yes, I'm originally from Arkansas.
Okay. I think you're an interesting woman, Joyce. Now, I want to just, now you went on and got, do you have a degree in criminal justice?
I need 3 hours to finish.
Okay, you're close to a degree in
Yeah, I've got about 100.
And where was that at?
Well, the last place I went to school last 2 years was at Southwest Texas.
And we're going back, what, like 25, 30 years back?
Oh, I would say I'm 59 years old, so it's been a while, right, since I first started out in college.
Then you had the Joyce and Mel show.
Yes, a good thing you didn't say, Mel and Joyce, like the late Mike Hanson said a while ago.
The Joyce and Mel show.
Uh-huh.
And then you've just, now you've got this, but what, the main thing... Before
that, I had a radio show at another station. Before that, I worked in Nashville at WSM, and before that, I raised 2 children. Wrong, of course. I let them watch Gilligan's Island much too much.
And now you've currently got your...
Well, one turned out to be an attorney. What can I say? I'm so sorry. I'm just kidding, Jeff. I love him. Okay. So now I've got this radio show.
Yes, and the ultimate question I want to ask you is as best as you can define it, who is Joyce Isaacs? I mean, from your origins and your beliefs and different things that you've done over the years. What do you want when everyone when they pass on they'd like to have some type of
It's a do-it-yourself memorial service.
Well, I'm just curious.
Is there something wrong? Did you talk to my doctor?
Is there something I mean, what is it that you want people to know Joyce Isaacs as?
That I tried to make the world better. I think I'm on as my husband says, she's right out of the Blues Brothers. She's on a mission from God. That's a little movie. Have you ever seen that one? Well, you need to see it. No, I think I have a purpose on this earth. Now, maybe most people, or some people think they don't have any purpose. But I think I do, because life to me would not mean too much if I feel very personal sense of being about my religion, about my spiritual feelings. And life has dealt me some blows that I'm like everybody else. I've had some hard times here or there. I started out from a modest little town in Arkansas, and my husband is from Illinois, and he came from a very modest background, and he finished college thanks to the GI Bill, and he's worked very hard, and I've worked hard, and we raised 2 kids and tried to instill some values in them that I hope will sustain them. I hope I've raised 2 children that are going to be beneficial and good to this society. I think that's what we're here for. I don't fight windmills anymore. I did for a long time, but there's some things I simply cannot do anything about. I don't just, go head on rushing into things I want to change and give all my energy away. I don't do that anymore. But I've done some things. When I was going to school at Southwest Texas, I turned some students in for stealing a copy of the test. And then it was like I had the pox. I thought honesty was real big in college. When it said they're going to kick you out of school, which they didn't. They should have, in my opinion. I'll stand with you if you need me to. If you are a crime victim, that's another thing I feel very passionate about. I'll go to court with you if you feel like Now, I'm not going to enable you if I feel like you're doing drugs or whiskey. If you're doing a lot of whiskey lately, you're not, are you? That's slow to answer,
not
Jeff.
Too bad.
No, but I mean, I'm trying not to be an enabler, because I certainly could be that, but I'll help people if they need it. I really will, because that's why I'm here. And I'm here also to have a good life and enjoy. It's okay to be happy.
I've got to ask you, Joyce, over the last couple of years, you've had some programs, somewhat similar guests and topics and themes that this program has, regularly. That's the central thing about different corruption in government and whatnot. Do you, well, maybe I should.
Well, go ahead and ask.
I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you do you believe in some of the things that these some of these voices are saying, or do you just have a radio show and you just believe in that freedom of speech and everyone has their own opinion and just let them? Or do you, I mean, how did I don't maybe I'm naive, but did you?
You mean, do I have a passion
have you heard any
for
of these
anything
things that you know over your life that you've been hearing on your radio program the last couple of years?
Well, I think what I've heard most of my life and what I've tried to tell my children and what I try to tell other people is that you need to think critically about every issue, Jeff. And I think those things have come home to me, in particular with Watergate. I think this is an anniversary of Watergate, isn't it? I believe. And though they took some of the shine off of our national government, I think it's probably always had corrupt people in it here or there. It's still the best government in the world, but it's got some people in it that aren't doing things that benefit all of us. It's called really a breach of trust. But I think...
And you believe that?
Watergate?
No, I mean in the whole sphere of things.
Yeah.
You do.
And I think when you have a president that's assassinated in Dallas, and then you have a Watergate, and you have now we found out this year that our government had done some tests on some black men in Alabama. I believe it was Alabama, with the syphilis test, and they did they put them into two groups and treated one group with real drugs and just gave the others, is it a placebo, is that what you call it? And it did not tell them for years and years and years, and this makes me so angry. Also, a new writer that's come on the scene, he's written a book, and it's about number 16 or 17 on the New York Times bestseller list. The name of it is Los Alamos, and it's based on the Manhattan Project, of course, which was the bomb during World War II. And the more things that I read, I just don't think you should trust everything that you're told. I think you should question. I've taken some grief for doing shows about the Gulf War syndrome. Okay, yesterday the New York Times came to my rescue because now we're going to find out that indeed we had some of our people exposed to a very bad chemical situation. And we got to fess up to it. That was in 91. What's this, 97 now? That's 6 years, Jeff. People could have gotten some help if the government had admitted. You put on a uniform and go fight for this country, don't you think it would just, that we ought to fess up? That we ought to own what we do?
What about this New World Order stuff? Has any of this, I know it took me several years of reading and studying and stuff for me to actually, hey, this is what I believe is really happening.
Most of the time my beliefs about power and money, I just thought those people were Republicans. Be a little humorous, okay? I do think there are people in power. There's something about power. Some people get some and they want some more and more and more. It's power and money. It's interchangeable, isn't it? I don't know. What concerns me most of all, I think NAFTA is a travesty. I think Texas is going to feel the impact of this. I think we need to do something about our immigration policy. We cannot.
What about the Republican? What about, I know you had McLaren and some Archie Lowe and some
I
of these
think what always gets me when I see things on the news about them, now, I don't think you should go into your neighbor's house and, I'm not for anything like that, like allegedly that McLaren did. Right.
Well, they're not, according to the latest bit I've got, they're not even being charged. That's not even an issue. So the whole thing might have been just,
Well, I'm not for violence. If you can, and I'm not passive. You're not going to hit me and get away with it. But violence, we need to learn to take care of problems in other ways. But the people from the Republic of Texas, that was one of the funnest shows I did because you didn't come up there that day, did you? Did you come with them?
No,
Well, they came up and they had about 50 people with them. They'd been, I think, to the courthouse, and it was what you might call high theater. And they were all over the building. And everybody at the radio station said, who are these people? And the salesman said, Joyce, this guy stopped me in the coffee shop back there. It was just great. Of course, I love a good time. They had a lot of people with them. It was kind of high theater. The people that I've talked to, I particularly love Archie Lowe. And the story about his bull, beefer, and all those things. These are people that are having a hard time economically, and it's really not their fault. And I think they probably didn't know Oh,
That's
sorry.
Apparently you had something.
Now I'm going to worry the whole time, Linda. She kept running over here. I'm
You're fine. You're beautiful, Joyce. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay, she came over here. Now, no. Y'all are so funny. She came over here and buttoned up my blouse back up or did something. No, actually, she was powdering around on me and yanking at me. No wonder you keep your hat on in this show. I think the Republic of Texas people are terribly frustrated economically. I think they don't know what to do. I think they feel like they're not taken into consideration in decisions that this government makes, and I think there are many, many people out there, Jeff. Some people
that think that, and it doesn't, but it doesn't mean everybody's involved doesn't have any resources. That's kind of what led you to. Well, I don't want to get off onto this topic too much.
Well, no, but I think people that are having hard times, in particular, look at something, and I think when the economy's bad, that happens. And I think our future appears to be very uncertain in this country, doesn't it?
Well, I think it does, but
you know, so I think people are a little worried about what's going on. I'm worried now because they came in and fixed something on me. Oh,
you're doing wonderful.
I'm doing wonderful. Okay,
yeah, we do. Go ahead.
I think people just get kind of disillusioned and they don't know where to turn to. All kinds of groups grow when we have a hard time economically or we're unsure politically of things going on. And let's face it, we're not the power that we used to be economically. Or we don't have any manufacturing, do we? If we had a war, we couldn't. I don't know that we could have a troop train. I was glad to see the Barnum and Bailey Ringling Brothers circus train through here. I thought they might let us borrow it if we should need it. We couldn't manufacture any boots. That's the only boots we're making now are probably good Texas boots. They're handmade and terribly expensive, the best in the world, I would imagine. They've sent all our industry to Mexico or to islands or now all this into China. All our toys at Christmas time are coming from there. I've gotten on a big campaign about when you buy things, read the label. It puts somebody out of a job. And I think when we talk about people being put out of jobs, when you talk about profit's one thing, but greed's something else, Jeff. I thought the beauty of America was that we had this vast middle class. Well, look around, because we don't have much of it left. Have you noticed that? All the wealth has gone upscale, and then it jumps. Are we going to be like, Mexico, for instance? We're going to have two groups of people, the very wealthy and the poor. Concerns me terribly, and it concerns me because I have two children that I saw fit to bring into this world, and I wanted to leave them. I don't know, they can't have the American dream like Glenn and I had it, I guess. We thought you got married and the daddy went out and worked real hard and you got a down payment for a house and da-da-da-da-da and all this stuff, and it worked for us. I don't think that's much of an option anymore. Are you asleep?
No, I'm taking it all in, Joyce, because to me, you're kind of an icon, I would say.
First of all, she comes over here and tweaks my nose.
Now, I noticed that your maiden name is Thompson.
Thompson.
Joyce Thompson.
Yes, my great-great-grandfather, Lawrence Thompson, fought in the American Revolution. He joined the Revolution in, let's see, I'm trying to think, 17... Okay, he's on the tax rolls in Orange County, North Carolina in 74, is that where it is? Okay, and he joined the American Revolution and ended up in Indiana, where he married my great-grandmother, and her maiden name happens to have been Thompson, too. We just knew they were going to Arkansas, we were all kind of intermarried. And she was Elizabeth Thompson, and then I guess she became Elizabeth Thompson. And they had my great-grandfather, another Lawrence Thompson, and then Lawrence Thompson had James Addison, and James Addison had my daddy, Hugh Thompson, and then me. Daddy was 50 when I was born. His daddy was older when he was born, so we got, all the Thompson men I don't know.
Your folks, both your parents are deceased?
Have been since I was about 17. So if you've got parents, you're lucky.
Yeah.
You got a neat stepfather.
Yeah, he's all right. Yes, well, yeah. But so what you is that German or what is Irish or what? Well, what do you have? What is your background?
My pedigree.
Yeah.
I'm probably English. Thompson's an English, Scotch English, and my mother's name was Beringer, which is very, very German. And then a lot
of people think that you're Jewish that I've talked to.
That I'm Jewish, that you talk to.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people,
that's my married name.
A lot of people have said
that's
that.
Glenn Isaac.
Glenn is Jewish? Or?
No, not that. Actually, when he married, when we married, he was a Baptist. And then we became Presbyterian. I'm Presbyterian. But we've all been
a lot of
Baptists
people think that because that name just seems
It's very Jewish, and some of the Isaacs are Jewish, some of us are not. And if you just, and now if it's appropriate, sometimes I would be willing to pass myself off as Jewish. If I have people that do word association, and they'll call me Miss Jacobs. Don't you love that?
So that dispels the rumors out there that Joyce is Jewish. I probably had at least half a dozen people tell me that.
Oh, okay.
Over the last.
Well, that's fine. If I were, that would be just fine.
So.
Because there have been a couple of Jewish people been very important in my life.
We also have if you look below here, we have a nonprofit organization called Gonzales Association of Patriots. And of course, 100% of that goes to helping elderly people here. We put up 112 people during the freeze, February of 2021. Those people would have froze to death if we would not have put them up in our hotel here in Gonzales, Texas. People were having accidents on the highways. They had nowhere to go. People's water and electricity was cut off. They had nothing. Thank God that, we made it through that. That was just something else for Texas to have that freeze. And it lasted for a whole week. And we put them up. It just about exhausted it did exhaust our donations for our nonprofit. So if you look below, and I want to thank the mayor of Gonzales, Texas. If you ever get a chance to tell, she bought all that food that back in February for all those people out of her own pocket, and then the news had tried to criticize it for her. If she wouldn't have opened up these shelters, people would have froze to death. Their fingers would have been frostbitten on their toes, just like what happened in Austin and Houston. So I want to commend our mayor here in Gonzales, Texas, Miss Connie. There you go. Everybody. Buy what you want with it. Buy you something nice once in a while.
I love you, Mike.
Yeah.
God bless you.
People donate money to us, and that's how we get this money.
Thank you.
So if anybody wants to know more about our organization, we're here in Gonzales, Texas at P.O. Box 481.
Thank y'all very much, and God bless everybody that helps people around that are in need. God bless y'all.
Okay, we'll see you next time,
Que
Peggy.
pase buen día, señora.
Yes. God bless.
In most people's lives.
Let's go ahead and try to take it.
At least he didn't wear that stupid Elvis costume this time.
All right.
Here you go, Joyce. There it is.
I don't know. Oh, is this what that is?
Yeah.
Is this a picture of that?
Well,
This is hysterical. Says love, Jess Davis Show staff. This is what I do.
Want me to do that for you?
No, I can do it.
Okay.
But a lot of people volunteer, for the Mental Health Association. That's what I do. I feel like, Jeff, when I come over here on this show, I'm volunteering a little bit for you. Is Mike cute or what? And I'm sorry.
I'm not
I
a very
was
good
so,
gauge of that.
I was, oh, how cute!
What do you think?
I just think it's darling.
You know who paid for that?
You know who paid for that? I have a feeling I'm going to sooner or
Can we hold it
later.
up?
Yeah.
Can we hold it up?
Is this cute? Where do you want it?
All
Here.
right, just put it right up there then.
Is that cute?
This was ours. I think on like January 27 or something.
And you had on that hysterical Elvis
Did
suit.
you like that?
I loved it.
I
and
knew I had to set the tone early.
Well,
I just came in all, you know,
dialed out like you usually do, good-looking, rugged guy that you are, ex-Marine. Oh, no,
Air Force.
Air Force. You know, that's something I really like about you is that you're able to be funny. I get really strung out with people who take everything so
Sometimes.
seriously.
Sometimes I get, sometimes I'm
Gosh,
both.
you look great in makeup.
You think? I
And you
appreciate
know,
that, Joe.
that's always what I've tried to tell Sam.
Isn't that nice,
That is
folks?
darling.
Yes.
It's darling. It's absolutely darling. And you know what I always have tried to tell Sam and Bob is they don't need makeup for radio, and they just come in, you know, every day and have it done before they go on the air. It's just kind of, you know, a showbiz thing, you know. Well, yes. Anyway, I don't know, and I'm a person like everybody else. I have a lot of failings.
Well, the reason why I asked you that, Joyce, is I have a good bit of respect for anybody. My opinion of
Will
and
you
I
respect
know
me in the morning when
and
we're
I
through?
know it takes all kinds
Yeah.
to make a world.
Sure.
But to me, I personally believe that there's just too many people sitting around, you know, doing nothing. There's what I consider to be modern Rome, burning, you know, collapsing down on
You
it.
mean in a
There's just too
handbasket
many
it's going?
People, the people are just sitting back taking it. They're not even paying any attention. And anybody that's got any gall to, you know, or any to step forward and say something or try to do something, or even if you can't do anything, just you're out there trying to better or change something. I think that's, to me, we need more people like that.
Well, and I think that some of that may have to do, Jeff, with self-esteem. I think you have to value your opinion. I am terribly disturbed when 17% of the voters, of the registered voters in this city, turn out for a city election. People have suffered. So here I go. Here's another soapbox I get on. Do you know that women only got the vote in about 1970 some odd years ago? I mean, we haven't always been able to vote. And I can remember my daddy's sister, who would be like 4,000 if she were alive now. No, she'd be about 130. She, maybe 120. But she said that she could remember when the vote came around and that James Addison, my grandfather, said, they just humble, poor farmers. They not. I mean, a horse thief in the family. You know, everyone in imagination to go steal a horse even. But she said the Thompson women always voted. So my mother and daddy they thought we needed to vote. They took me to vote with them, and I always took my children. I took them in the booth with me and showed them how to vote. Women, you need to vote. Do you understand? You don't have control over your life as much as you should have, but you're never going to have it if you don't get out and vote. Then I have another thing that really...
Can I just mention one thing?
Okay.
In some regards, though, I myself may look at that as maybe... Could it be, Joyce, that people are starting to realize that it's a rigged system and there's no choice?
There is a choice. There's a choice of to vote or not to vote.
Well, but
you
again,
can't
if
quit
the system
playing
is rigged,
well, it's gonna. If it's rigged, they win. If you don't vote.
Well, I think that maybe we ought to look at other avenues to defeat what I consider.
But
to be
in this
modern
country,
Rome.
that's what
if
we
that's not
have.
one avenue that. Go ahead.
Comment, Rita. Oh, that's our receptionist, the lovely Rita. Now, Sammy calls her Rita, but we call her the lovely Rita because just as Vanna White turns the letters, the lovely Rita answers the phones. And Rita, we love you, darling, and especially when you get me some real good mail, get me a box of money tomorrow. No, she's wonderful, and she told me I was acting ugly last week, and I was. I said, well, y'all get to act ugly all the time. Could I have a turn at it, you know? But Rita said, I'll tell you, Joyce. But The other group that it disturbed me greatly, African Americans don't vote as they should. I remember the 60s. Surely you remember those too, albeit you are a young thing. But I remember what a lot of black people went through to get the ballot for African Americans. And a lot of people died, Jeff, so that they could exercise their right to vote. If nothing else, think about the people that went before you that made great, great sacrifices. Some paid with their life.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
Well, I'm taking it in, Joyce.
I feel very passionate
I'm almost
about
to the point of believing that this system is so corrupt now that voting is, we're not going to vote our way out of it.
What do you think we should do? Shoot our way out?
Well, that's why I appreciate people like the Joyce Isaac Show and other people that I believe that are providing some alternative information
but
as to maybe what's happening to the people, you know.
I've never advocated shooting our way out.
But there is information. We've also got some callers that have been holding for a long time.
Before this goes to 8:30. We need to do that before 8.
Okay. Callers, just stay on the line here, folks.
Yeah, we're going to be back with you. Okay, I want to tell you about something. Okay, talk over it.
Okay, well, go ahead. Introduce this. What we're going to be seeing here.
Yeah, we're going to see. This is Bethany Cemetery. It's out off, I can't remember the address. Mike, what is the address of it?
Look up the, there you go.
Is it where? Okay. He's going to tell us the address in just a minute. He's going to put that up on the monitor.
This is the Bethany Cemetery.
And it's in such disrepair, and there are many, many slaves buried there. Now, this is a part of our history and a part of our culture, a part of what made this, oh, here we go.
Go ahead.
Here we go. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're going out. All right, we're taking a little shot there. I believe we're over in the parking lot at Sims School. That's where it is. It's across the street from Sims Elementary School. Great elementary school, I might add. The well-kept, well, it was just a great little school. Of course, it's closed for the summer. Didn't have any kiddos loose, but there we are. Okay. And we're going to go across the street here in a minute and show you this Bethany Cemetery. See Sims School? You got a lot of kids that go to Sims School when it's in session. You see how nice it is? It's just a great elementary school. And so we're out cruising, see, and we're taking in some sights because Austin has many, many things, Jeff, that people don't appreciate. They don't know about. They don't take the time to go visit. You know, they're all talking about, let's see, there's Bethany Cemetery, and it was established in the late 1800s when burial space set aside for the African Americans in Austin's historic Oakwood Cemetery was no longer available. It's the oldest recorded person in there was buried in I think it says 1879.
Yeah,
okay, but if you'll just look at your monitor, look closely, and or look at your screen, and you'll see what it says. And it's in such disrepair. We need and Sue Spears has been working. In 1997, this became a Texas historical site. And I about had a hysterical sight when I saw it because it's in such disrepair. This is over 5 acres of land, folks. It is beautiful. See, we're out there looking, and look at the wildflowers that have grown up. Oh, it is. Now, that's right off the street, and it sits, I guess, S-E-T-S, is that the word? Okay, look here. 1858. Do you understand that this person was probably born into slavery? Look at that. Died in 1908. And I started going through there and looking at gravestones, and I'm 1859. That was before the. Look at that. I'm amazed at all these and treasures. They're absolute treasures sitting out there. This cemetery needs to be taken care of. I think it needs a better fence around it. Oops. Okay, Jeff. Okay. Look at this. Look at this baby. Oh, quit looking at that. That's for the end. Okay. Look at this baby. Look at this tomb. Child was, I think, 1 year old, and I was so fascinated with that. I couldn't break myself away up. Look. See how little his little baby. We need to get this place fixed. It's wonderful. It's the people who endured slavery. Look at it. One stone in there had the woman's name. Her name was Mississippi, and I was telling that today on the radio. I just think this is a wonderful, wonderful place. It's quite a bit of land, and it needs to be maintained. Now, as I say, Sue Spears and Ron Davis have worked on it, but we need to put some, but this is a rich town. I mean, the city council's wasted enough money to maintain it. And that was a really bad remark, Joyce, but it's true. See, look how high everything is. And I had a few sober moments there when Mike would yell, "Watch out for snakes," okay? And I would kind of jump around. And there's a path running through it. Kids are riding bikes. And I don't know, it was just, and look how peaceful it is because it's so much land that's not occupied by residences. And of course, because it's a cemetery. And you didn't go over and see it. I am so taken with it, and I'm so.
Where's exactly is it at? I'm not.
Okay, I'm trying to. Now here's one. Okay, born in 1868. That's right around the time of the Civil War. The Taylor plot here was pretty well maintained. I would think that probably the family comes in and works on this little particular part of it. I'm trying to think what the name of it is, the name of the street, and I've got it written down right here. Springdale Road. Is that what it is? It's Springdale, across from Sam's.
East 12th.
Springdale and East 12th, and it's across from Sam's School. And you can pull up in there. As I say, there's not much easement once you step outside the gates, I call them the pillars, they're in such disrepair, there's just not much easement there. It's like a bicycle lane, and there, you're in front of a truck. But it's just a treasure, and someone needs to do something about it. I don't know if it's going to be me and you, perhaps, Jeff. It was so peaceful because it's a cemetery, and it's a big cemetery right in the middle of this city, and it's practically downtown now, because the downtown just keeps growing and growing and growing, and we need to maintain it. And my switchboard number is up there, 495-1300, and if you will call me, I will put you in contact. And she's busy. I think she has children and keeps house and tries to do every other thing in the community, one of those kind of ladies. And I'll still keep trying. I'll start again tomorrow and try to find her. And see how pretty it is? It was just, but to think how long some of those people have been out there, have been buried out there resting, and wonder what their life was like. Wonder what's on the tree. Oh yeah, he was showing that graffiti. Also, Mike and I were walking around back in there when I wasn't looking for snakes. There was a bicycle. I'm thinking maybe there's some stolen merchandise stashed in there. My friend Tiny had called me, and she said when she was growing up, her daddy had a dairy out that way. She said it used to be a lover's lane, which you probably know about parking in cemeteries, Jeff. And yeah, he's the bike trail. See, I'm standing in the bike trail and nearly got run over by a kid on a bike coming through there. He was cutting through there. Two little girls walked through there. They were going to the swimming pool. And I had a caller today on the air that said that several people had been, that's born in 1845. So that was probably a person. Now here's the little cherub on the city going down the trail. See, there he is. And he came back through and he said, if you think I'm coming through here a lot or something, he said, I had to see the graffiti. Look at the houses that are so close to this fence. That was another thing. I was kind of amazed with that. Now here's the one, the wife, Mississippi is her name. She was born in 1852. But I loved it because I would suspect she had come from Mississippi, or she maybe had family. Oh, and while you're out there, American Airlines is well and running, okay, because it was flying over. We had to quit 2 or 3 times. That was all right because it was like the past back before the Civil War, and we're propelled into the age we are now. There's the bike we found. Does it look like anything you've lost? It's being stashed out there now. It's a wonderful, wonderful cemetery, and it's full. It's loaded with history. And today, I had a real funny thing that happened today on the air. I was talking about this, and someone had called in, and I just remember, because Monday's always a slow day, a gentleman named John, he had called in and he said that he thought many things were in disrepair, and strange things happened to me. He said he'd gone to Washington, D.C. Last year, maybe, or a couple of years ago. A friend that lives up there, and they had gone out to the Congressional Cemetery. What are you yelling?
We have 8 minutes. We want to get 2 callers on before the
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute.
In other words.
It's 21 minutes after 8. Are we supposed to give the time, or is that pertinent?
Not relevant.
Okay, not relevant. Okay, how about the traffic? Not relevant.
Not
okay,
relevant.
but it's cool in here. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Did Austin have the first access channel?
I have no idea.
What do you mean you have no idea? You have a show here. Don't you know your history? What about yelling?
Hello, caller. Thank you for holding.
Well, thanks a lot there, Jeff Davis, and of course the wonderful Joyce Isaacs. You know, I had the fine pleasure of actually working with both of y'all one day.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Loopy.
Hi, Lupe.
Hey, what's going on, Lupe?
Not too bad. Did
Good to
you get
hear.
your air check?
What's that?
Did you get your air check?
Mike Hanson has it.
Oh, yeah, I did receive that.
He
Thank you.
thought you said you get your hair cut.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I did receive that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, nevertheless, I did have the pleasure at one time back in 1990 of working in the cemetery, but it was actually overseas in the Persian Gulf. And I guess,
you were in a cemetery in the Persian Gulf?
well, there's lots of cemeteries. It was actually a Christian cemetery out there.
Oh,
so
okay.
A little bit. So at one time, I guess in our company, 50 of us had volunteered to go clean up a cemetery.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, what you're talking about, a cemetery, seeing it decay after so many years, I guess it gives you a pleasure of seeing it come back to life and seeing it well maintained. It gets you a good feeling.
I think so. I think it makes us appreciate people that have gone before.
Speaking of that, about that cemetery, I saw a recent cemetery in Port Lavaca, and there was actually a potter's grave. I guess is that the same term? Is that term still used for a grave?
Potter's Field for a charity cemetery.
Right. And this is for somebody who I knew, and actually I driven her down there to go see her mom. You know, when she was about 22 years old, and her mom died when she was 14. But it was actually kind of a sad state to look at the cemetery, to see it so, you know, run down. You know, I've never seen a cemetery in Texas so run down for so many recent graves in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's surprising that there are so many of them out there. And, you know, I don't even know if the state has any type of funding to keep the cemeteries up or what.
I think my husband said he thought with the historical site, Jeff, that it was up to the whoever owned it, like a committee or whatever, to do that. But we have just spent a lot of money, and that's one of the next features Mike and I are going to do on the state cemetery, thanks to Bob Bullock. It's wonderful. Up at 7th and Comel up there. It is gorgeous, and I urge all of you to go see that.
Right.
Okay, Loopy, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for calling, Lupe. I appreciate it. Good hearing from you. Next caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, it's Wes.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man?
Good. And you?
Joyce, how you doing, darling?
I'm fine. Is this Wes?
This is it, darling.
Are you the one are you putting together the seminar?
Seminar this Sunday, yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I hoped you would tell us about. Do you know about that?
Just from last week, do we have anything to put up on that, or do you want?
Well, we don't have a slate. We don't have a slate. You don't have a slate up on it this time. There's been some changes.
Okay, there's been some changes to it.
Yeah.
Sunday?
Did you give the
Well,
information?
the date and everything's going to be the same.
Okay, because Greg called my show this morning. Is that still all go?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he called and said that you were going to be there and speak with us.
He said, what do you want me to speak about? I only know 2 subjects.
Well, we all want to hear what you say, darling.
Oh, well, I was going to speak on sex today.
Oh, we'd love
You
that.
were?
We'd love that. That'd get everybody's attention.
Yes,
Well, no, it'd be a short speech. Okay.
Well, you know, I am. I'm putting this little thing together, and I think the primary focus is going to be on solutions to local, state, and federal government, and I think it's going to be the hottest thing in Austin.
Well, the thing I feel very strongly about it, Wes, is we're smart people, and we can come up with solutions that work.
Well, now you guys deal with this problem every day. You know, every day you deal with it. You work with this thing. You guys have got the solutions. You know what it is, and the people need to know that.
I don't know that we have the solutions, but...
Well, you may not have all the solutions, but everybody that's there is going to have at least a piece of it.
Well, I hope so. But we can define some problems. That's the first step, isn't it?
Sure. Sure.
Speak up, Jeff. It's
I
your
think
show.
John Trockman's Militia Montana's option looking as good as any of them right now.
Oh, Jeff. She said
I
Jeff.
happen to be a big supporter of militias, so.
Hey, Jeff. We're
you
also
really
promoting
don't.
that, not only on public access, we're also we're promoting it on the internet too, We're getting.
How are
Do you
you?
have a website up?
Well, we've got a location where people can find out information on it, and if Jeff, if you think they want that, I can give them that location.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and give them all the information, Wes, and we'll slap it up there again for you.
Okay. Okay.
That's what this show's all
Slap it
about.
up.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
That's what the show's all about. I'm getting tired of the plant.
You thought it was me over there feeling around on you, didn't you?
I wish it was better than
Well,
the one
there
in
goes
the plant.
nothing. Okay.
Joyce, did you want to go ahead and take a quick
Yes.
5-minute break?
Is that what you like to do?
Yeah.
Thank you. Will you
I
let me
think
drink
so.
that soda pop that you wouldn't let me bring in here into the studio that I own because I'm a member?
Go to black for a minute.
Okay,
Okay, can we have a break?
Announce that. We're gonna put this on rotation so this can play, repeatedly.
I love
And what we have to
rotation.
do now is actually physically go to black while people are watching the program. So they'll just be sitting there watching black because
And you can go get the popcorn out of the microwave.
that's a good time. It's like a commercial.
It's
This
like
is
a
commercial
commercial.
time coming up. Here.
Get the popcorn that doesn't have a lot of fat in it, okay? Because I've lost a few pounds and I'm trying to lose some more. I have a doctor and a husband that are both substantial, let's say.
Now, when we get back, I want to mention that you've taken a trip up to Oklahoma City, and you've had general pardon. You've taken some heat for some of these various guests and issues and things that you're. So we're going to talk about a little bit of Oklahoma City when we get back.
Who is the young man in the shorts and the one that always looks starched? Have you ever noticed that about Mike Hanson? We're out there in the graveyard tromping around, and he, he's always, he doesn't sweat. Kind of makes me mad. And me, I sit here, they come in here and fix my nose for me. Linda.
We have a organization. It's only here in Gonzales. Somebody's trying to get by. Go back a little bit. We have an organization here, a nonprofit organization. It's Gonzales Association of Patriots. But every month we do something really good for some lucky person or people. And when we had the hurricane down there, boy, did we, that was a lot of money. We usually don't go out of Gonzales, but that was a little bit, to see those people in the trailer parks and stuff really hurting and stuff, we went down there and helped them.
Okay.
And but we're going to help a real nice elderly lady. She barely makes her bills, Peggy, so I know she's going to be appreciative of the $100 that we're going to give her. And so let's go over and surprise
Let's go knock on her door.
We've already mowed her yard, so she'll probably tell you thank you about that. But then we're going to surprise her.
Okay, great.
Here's what you're getting this month.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right there.
You
It's
see
by awarded by, because I know you need help with your food and everything else. So that's from the Gonzales Association of Patriots. We always try to do something good for somebody every single month. We try
I
to.
love you, Mike.
Great.
I love everybody. Thank you. Thank
there you go.
Everybody.
Buy what you want with it. Buy you something nice once in a while.
I love you, Mike.
Yeah.
God bless you.
People donate money to us, and that's how we get this money.
Thank you.
So if anybody, wants to know more about our organization, we're here in Gonzales, Texas at P.O. Box 481.
Thank y'all very much, and God bless everybody that helps people around that are in need. God bless y'all.
Okay, we'll see you next time,
Que
Peggy.
pase buen día, señora.
Gracias. God bless.
Cemetery was no longer available. The oldest recorded burial is that of infant Helen Moore in 1879. C.W. Jones purchased this land in 1892. The Bethany Cemetery Company, formed in 1893 by William Holland, Henderson Rollins, Allen Bradley, and William M. Tears, maintained the site until 1933. In 1976, members of the Bethany Cemetery Association became caretakers of the 6.18 acre graveyard and improved this site, which still serves the area.
Visiting with Bonnie Haldeman, who was David Koresh's mother, here on April 19th, 1997. Bonnie, if you would, you may say anything you want, but I think a lot of people want to, they're curious about what kind of a son was David Koresh.
Well, David, to me, was the kind of son any mother would be proud of. Even as a little boy growing up, he was always kind and honest and loving and very generous, obedient. He was a very obedient child. Loved to give presents. One time he pulled nails for my daddy for 2 weeks just to buy Christmas presents for everybody. $20 back then. Bought a lot of presents. David was a very sincere person, a very thinking type person. He was always asking questions of his daddy and his grandpa and everyone. They'd get frustrated at him. It was mainly because they didn't know how to answer him. So he would go and he would search, and that's what led him, I guess, to search in the scriptures, because he loved the scriptures from a young age of 6 years old. So all I can sum up is that he loved God, he loved humanity, and that was his main goal in life. He saved. I'm very proud of him.
Let me say this, Bonnie. I can honestly say, at least from the Jeff Davis Show perspective, that you all were terribly violated. These people were violated.
We're all violated.
And there should be, if we had a legitimate government, we would be having indictments on these people. None of us can take a tank or a car or something and run it into a structure occupied with men, women, and children.
Yeah, a situation like that is just a shock to people in America that something like that would happen. The government coming in and the army and things like that. But whether we ever get any indictments or anything, we've got to remember that God is the Almighty Judge and revenge is mine, says the Lord. So that's what we have to do. We can't get our government to do what's right. Hopefully, maybe something can be done here on earth. People educate themselves to what happens. They need to.
Bonnie Hall, it's an honor to have you on the Jeff Davis Show.
Long live the Constitution! God bless America! And death to the New World Order! We shall, we must, and we will prevail because we're willing to stand up against what's happening. God bless the Republic and the United States! And death to the New World Order! Yeah! All right! Yeah! Yes, thank you very much, folks.